Okay friends, so we were till now discussing about permutation, combination and some of the important properties, right? So we actually started off with the concept of factorial. You understood that. Then we discussed about 0 factorial, which is equal to 1. We have understood that NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, that is superscript factorial divided by superscript minus subscript factorial. Then we have also seen NCR is equal to n factorial divided by r factorial, that is superscript factorial divided by subscript factorial into superscript minus subscript factorial. And what we have seen is this very part and this is same. So you can write NCR as NPR divided by r factorial, and thereby we have seen the relation between NPR and NCR as NPR is equal to NCR into r factorial. And I told you this very formula is what we are going to use a lot when we come across other questions in future. Okay, now in the second session we have discussed about some important properties. Okay, so we started off with this property NCR is equal to NCN minus R. Okay, so here I gave you an example, 9C4 is equal to 9C5. Why? Because this 4 and 5 add up to the superscript. Similarly, 7C3 equal to 7C4. Why? Because 3 and 4 will add up to the superscript. That is the first property. Okay. Then we have discussed about maximum values. Okay. So if you have certain NCR values where R varies from 0 to N. So it's like NC0, NC1, NC2, etc. up to NCN. What is the maximum value in this case if I ask you? Okay, so it depends on whether n is even or odd. If n is even, maximum value will be NCN by 2. If n is odd, I told you there will be two maximums, right? The first one will be NCN minus 1 by 2 and the second one will be NCN plus 1 by 2. And remember, this n minus 1 by 2 and n plus 1 by 2, if you add, you will get n. And that's what this formula. So if n is even, you have only one maxima. If n is odd, you have two maximas. That's what we have discussed, right? Then after that, we have seen this case. NCR plus NCR minus 1. So what is this? These two are same. Superscript is same. Subscript differ by 1. One example, 9C4 plus 9C3. What is the answer? N plus 1. Superscript plus 1. N plus 1 C and the larger subscript, that is R here. So here the answer will be 9 plus 1, that is 10 C4. Then after that we have seen this case, that is NCR you can write in such a way that you can take out n by r. So once you take n by r out, n become n minus 1 because you have taken one n out. So n minus 1 C r minus 1. This is the last one that we have learned. Now let's move on. Let's continue with the properties. The next one which I want to discuss is this property n into n minus 1 C r minus 1. Just before you have seen NCR can be written as n by r, n minus 1 C r minus 1. See if I have an r, this is nothing but NCR. That's the very same thing that we have discussed in the previous case. But here there is no r here. Okay, so just this much only. So then what is the answer? The answer is like this. This n, okay, that you need to add to this. So how will it write is like this, n minus 1 plus 1. Sorry. Now this will become n minus r plus 1 C r minus 1. N minus r plus 1 C r minus 1. Okay. So that's the answer in this case. Now if you go for the deduction, let's go for the deduction. So here the condition is 0 less than or equal to r minus 1 less than or equal to n minus 1. So instead of r it is r minus 1. And instead of n, it is n minus 1. So we are just substituting here r minus 1 and n minus 1. Okay, now let's continue with the property. The next property is, I'll write it as 5, n and n minus 1 C r minus 1. See, if it is n by 2, you know it is clearly that this is nothing but NCR, and that's what exactly we have discussed before. But here, there is no n by 2. You have only n and then n minus 1 C r minus 1. Now the answer for this case is n minus r plus 1 into n C r minus 1. Okay, so n minus r plus 1, then NCR minus 1. Now let's look at the deduction. So here keep in mind that here 0 less than or equal to R minus 1 less than or equal to N minus 1. So instead of R it is R minus 1 and N it is N minus 1. So we will arrange like this. But what about here? Here it is like 0 less than or equal to R less than or equal to N. This is N. Okay. So let's go for the proof. Let's take LHS. What is your LHS? N into N minus 1 CR minus 1. So how will you write this? You will write it as N into N minus 1 CR minus 1. So superscript factorial, that is N minus 1 factorial, divided by subscript factorial, that is R minus 1 factorial, into superscript minus subscript, that is N minus 1 minus R minus 1 factorial. Right? So when you expand this, it will become N into N minus 1 factorial divided by R minus 1 factorial. Okay. Now what it will become? This minus 1 and this minus 1 will get cancelled out because this become plus 1. So it effectively become N minus R factorial. So N into N minus 1 factorial divided by R minus 1 factorial into N minus R factorial. Now you apply one of the deduction that we have seen earlier. See, what is N into N minus 1 factorial? That is nothing but N factorial, right? See, N minus 1 factorial means continued product up to N minus 1. Into N means continued product up to N. That is nothing but N factorial. So this will become N factorial divided by R minus 1 factorial into N minus R factorial. Now if you see here what the result that we need to prove, in this you can see one N minus R plus 1. So what we need is we need to bring in that element N minus R plus 1. So let's multiply and divide this with N minus R plus 1. So let me multiply with N minus R plus 1 and divide with N minus R plus 1. Okay, so now let's see what is the change. Okay, so what we need is N minus R plus 1. So we multiply and we divide by N minus R plus 1. Okay, so numerator also we will multiply, denominator also we will multiply, so that there is no change. Now if you observe here, these two together, what it will give? See, what is this N minus R factorial means? N minus R factorial means continued product up to N minus R. And what is N minus R plus 1? That is the next number. So effectively it will be giving you N minus R plus 1 factorial, isn't it? Because N minus R factorial is already there, and when we have the next number, it's like 6 factorial you have, and you have the next number, that is 7. So both of them will give you 7 factorial. Very same as what actually happening here. So this two you can actually replace with N minus R plus 1 factorial. Now let's see how will it look like. So let's take this N minus R plus 1 out, because that is the format in which we need the answer, right? So N minus R plus 1 I am taking out, and let me write this as N factorial. Okay, now let me write this R minus 1 factorial as such. So divided by R minus 1 factorial into this N minus R factorial, and N minus R plus 1 I will combine and I will write it as N minus R plus 1 factorial. Okay, so I will write this as equation 1, and this is what my LHS. Now let's see the RHS and let's see what is going to happen over there. So what is your RHS? What you are supposed to get? N minus R plus 1, okay, and NCR minus 1. So let's keep this N minus R plus 1 as such, because we already got it, right? We will just apply the formula of NCR in this given expression, right? So write it as N minus R plus 1 as such, then apply the formula. So what is NCR minus 1? Superscript factorial, that is N factorial, divided by subscript factorial, that is R minus 1 factorial, into superscript minus subscript factorial. So superscript is N minus R minus 1, it will become N minus R plus 1. Okay, so N minus R plus 1 factorial. Now if you observe it closely, we have this as, you can mark it as 2, and this is your RHS. Okay, so you can see here N minus R plus 1, you can see N minus R plus 1 here, you can see an N factorial here, you can see an N factorial here, you can see an R minus 1 factorial here, you can see an R minus 1 factorial here, you can see N minus R plus 1 factorial here, you can see N minus R plus 1 factorial here. So clearly this RHS and LHS are equal. So you can write by 1 and 2 LHS equal to RHS. Okay, what does that mean? That means you can write it as N into N minus 1 C R minus 1 is equal to n minus r plus 1, okay, into NCR minus 1. Just note this down, keep this in mind. So we may be able to use this in the coming session. Okay. Now let's move on to the next property. That is NCR. This is our sixth property, right? NCR divided by NCR minus 1. Now, what is this? You can see the superscripts are same and the subscript differ by 1. And it is division. If you remember, previously we have discussed NCR plus NCR minus 1. Here also you can see the superscripts are same and the subscripts differ by 1, but it was addition. And we have got the answer, right? You know that. I have given you an example. Let's suppose 9C4 and 9C3. So the superscript same, subscript differ by 1. What is the answer? Superscript plus 1, that is 10, and the larger subscript, that is 4. This is the answer. So here it is n plus 1 CR. Okay, superscript plus 1 and larger subscript, right? Now, but here it is division. So you get this two. So the example can be like this. Okay, let's suppose you get 9C4 divided by 9C3. So this, if you know the method, the calculation will become easy and the factorials will be eliminated. I'll give you the direct answer now. N minus R plus 1 divided by R. You can clearly see here that the factorials and everything is removed. Okay. So what will be the answer in this case? What is N? You can see N as 9. So 9. Okay. Then you can see what is R. See, R is this. So the larger one. So minus 4 plus 1 divided by 4. So 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So 6 divided by 4, which is equal to 3 by 2. So what is 9C4 by 9C3? 3 by 2. There is no need to calculate what is 9C4 and what is 9C3 and then to divide. So otherwise, how will you do this? 9C4, you will calculate, right? 9 factorial divided by 4 factorial into 9 minus 4 factorial. Then 9C3 also you calculate 9 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 9 minus 3 factorial. Okay. But when you are and then you need to divide this. So is that required? No, that's not actually required, and that's what we have discussed here based on this formula. So the point is, see, you have NCR divided by NCR minus 1. What is the concept here? Superscripts are same and the subscript differ by 1 and you need to divide. What is the answer? Answer is N minus R plus 1 divided by R. What is the advantage? The factorials is removed. The calculation becomes easier. Okay. Now, if you want the deduction, so how will you get this? Let's start with the LHS. Okay. So what is your LHS? Let's start with this. Let's expand this. So how will you write this NCR? NCR, we know n factorial divided by R factorial into n minus R factorial into this NCR minus 1. Okay. So rather than dividing by NCR minus 1, you can multiply with the reciprocal. So you will write it as 1 divided by NCR minus 1. Now what we need is expand this. Okay. So what is 1 by NCR minus 1? See, if you know NCR minus 1, take the reciprocal. So what is NCR minus 1? N factorial divided by R minus 1 factorial into N minus R minus 1 factorial. So we need to take the reciprocal here. So let me write in that way. N factorial divided by R factorial into N minus R factorial into 1 by NCR minus 1 will become, what is NCR minus 1? N factorial. So I'll write that N factorial in the denominator, and what will come in the denominator I'll write in the numerator because we are taking the reciprocal. So what will be the denominator? That is R minus 1 factorial into N minus R minus 1. That become N minus R plus 1. Okay. So N minus R plus 1 factorial. Now you can clearly see here n factorial and n factorial is getting cancelled out. Okay. Now what we need is, we need to apply deduction that we have learned. We can apply it here in R factorial and we need to apply it here. So what we have learned is n factorial can be written as n minus 1 factorial into n. Right? So how will you write this R factorial? You will write it as R minus 1 factorial into R. So this become R minus 1 factorial into, let's apply deduction here. So n minus R plus 1 factorial will be 1 less than that factorial, that is n minus R factorial into n minus R plus 1, right? So I'll write it as n minus R factorial. What is that? N minus R plus 1 minus 1 factorial into n minus R plus 1 divided by, let's apply deduction here in R factorial. That will become R minus 1 factorial, R minus 1 factorial into R Okay, then this n minus r factorial, n minus r factorial. So I hope this is clear. So where we applied deduction, one, we applied it here, this one, and then we applied it here, this one. Okay, now what will happen? This r minus 1 factorial and r minus 1 factorial will get cancelled out. This n minus r and n minus r is getting cancelled out. What is left out? N minus r plus 1 divided by r, and that is what our RHS. Okay, so we got LHS is equal to RHS. So now onwards, if you see this format, that is superscript same, subscript differ by 1, and you need to divide. Answer is n minus r plus 1 divided by r. The advantage is factorials got removed. Calculation is very easy. Now see, it's not always necessary that you may get it in this format itself. This is applicable in this case also. See, if you are getting, only thing is that the superscript need to be same. It can be n. See, now let's see, this is r plus 1. Then if you get NCR, then also the same is applicable. But the point is, then this becomes R. That is what you need to make the change in the answer. Okay. So when you substitute this R will become R plus 1. And this R will become R plus 1. That is only change. Then how will the answer look like? It will be like this. N minus R plus 1, okay, plus 1 divided by R plus 1. Now you can see clearly this is minus 1 and this is plus 1 is getting cancelled out. So this become N minus R divided by R plus 1. Now take another example. Let's suppose numerator is N plus 1, C R plus 1 and denominator N plus 1, C R. You can see the subscripts differ by 1, superscript same. So what will be the answer in this case? N plus 1 instead of N minus, instead of R it is R plus 1, okay, then plus 1 divided by R plus 1. Still you get the same thing only, N minus R plus 1 divided by R plus 1. I hope this is clear for all of you. Okay, now that we have already understood about the basic properties, let's move on to some of the questions. Okay, so some of the examples. So we'll see some examples and we will see how we are going to solve those questions. So basically you are going to apply those properties that we have learned so that you will get a complete idea about the use of those properties. Okay, so let me start off with one question. Question number 1, 70 C20 plus 3 times 70 C21, okay, now plus 3 times 70 C22 plus 70 C23. Okay, now the moment you see this, the property which is actually coming to your mind is NCR plus NCR minus 1, right? The superscripts are same and the subscript differ by 1. That is the property is coming to your mind, right? So if you look here, the 70C21 and 70C22, it looks like these properties are going to fit exactly over there, okay? Similarly, if you look here, 70C20 and 70C21, see the superscripts are same, right? And subscript differ by 1. Here also 70, 70 and differ by 1. So it is a clear case where you can use the property that we have learned. But you know what will happen is, when you see this 3 times 7, 70C21 and 3 times 70C22, you may have a tendency to take a 3 out. Okay, so what you will, let me take this portion, okay, or let me write it in this way, 70C20 plus what you will do, you will take 3 out, then you will write 70C21 plus 70C22 by thinking that you can apply the property here, and obviously you can apply, plus you will write the 70C23. Okay, now what will happen after this is the 70C20, let me write it like that, plus 3 times. Now let me apply the property that we have learned. What was that? The superscripts, okay, you will write 1 plus the superscript, that is 71, okay, then C, the highest among the subscript, that is 22, plus 70C23. Okay, so when you're applying that property that you have learned, you are getting 71 here. Now you got stuck. See, you have common superscripts in this case, but subscripts are not differ by 1. Similarly, you have subscript differ by 1 here, but the superscripts are not same. So now you cannot apply the property that we have learned. You're stuck here. So taking this 3 out is not the right approach. Taking this 3 out is not the right approach. Rather, what you should do is, let me proceed it in a different way. Okay, what I'm going to do is, this 3 times 70C21, I will write it as 2 times 70C21 and 1 times 70C21. So you will get 3 times 70C21. So let's see, 70C20 plus Okay, from this I'll take 170C21. So 70C21. Then how many left out? 2 is left out, right? So 270C21 which is left out. Again, from this also I will do the same thing, right? So what I'll do is I'll write it as 2 times 70C22 plus then 170C22 is left out, right? So 70C22 then this one plus 70C23. Okay, now when you're writing like this, what is the advantage? You can apply the property over here because you can see the superscript same, subscript differ by 1. You can apply the property here also because the superscript same, subscript differ by 1. Now, after that, if you take 2 common out, then here also the superscripts are same and subscript differ by 1. So let's apply the property. In this case first, 70C20 and 70C21. That will become 71C21 plus you can take the 2 common which is out. Okay, so 70C21 plus 70C22 plus now you can apply the property here, that is 70C22 plus 70C23. Subscript differ by 1, superscript same. So it will become 71C, the highest superscript, that is 23. Okay, so now if you look here also you can apply the property because the superscripts are same and subscript differ by 1. So it will become 71C21 plus 2 times. Okay, now here 71C22 plus 71C23, right? Now what you can do? You can see 2 times 71C22. Make it as 1 each. So how will you write this? 71C21 and then plus 71C22. 71C22 which is left out, you can write like this, 71C22 plus 71C23 which is this. Now the advantage is, now you can combine this two, and apply the property. So what will happen? Superscripts are same, that is 71. So 71 plus 1, 72. C22, that is the highest subscript. Plus here also the superscripts are same. So 71 plus 1 again 72. Okay, C23. Now again you can apply the property here. So 72 superscripts are same, subscript differ by 1. So it will become 73C23. 73C23 which is my final answer. Now here sometimes your options will be like this, 73C23, then it is direct, you can mark. Sometimes you may get answer option like this, 73C50. Now if you don't see this answer option, you don't want to worry. If you get this answer option, this is also correct. Why? Because we have learned a property, right? 73C23 is equal to 73C50. Why? Because the subscripts add up to the superscript. Subscript add up to superscript. Now what was that property? NCR is equal to NCN minus R, where this R and N minus R, if you add, you will get N. Okay, so answer for this question is either this or this, and depends on the option you can pick the answer. I hope this is clear for all of you. Okay, let's look at one more question. So you have given NCR minus 1 is equal to 36, NCR is equal to 84, NCR plus 1 is equal to 126. Okay, NCR plus 1 is equal to 126. So you can see here the superscripts, they are same, but the subscripts see R minus 1 and R differ by 1, R and R plus 1 differ by 1. See here all the three, if you consider, these are 3 successive numbers. Okay, 3 consecutive numbers. So it's like if R minus 1 is 3, what will be R? R will be 4. What is R plus 1? R plus 1 will be 5. Okay, so R, what is given as R? 3 successive numbers. Okay, so what we need is we need to find N and R in this case. So how will you find? We have learned a property where you get this kind of number where the superscripts are same and subscript differ by 1. I told you a method to remove the factorials and get the answer. What was that? Divide, right? So the property that we are actually going to use is NCR divided by NCR minus 1. What is that? These two differ by 1, subscript differ by 1 and superscripts are same. What was the result? Result was N minus R plus 1 divided by R. Now we are going to use this. So let's see how we are going to use this. So let's substitute. What is NCR? NCR is given as 84. What is NCR minus 1? That is given as 36. So which will be equal to N, which we know here. So which will be equal to N minus R plus 1 divided by R. N minus R plus 1 divided by R. Now this will become 7 by 3 Why? Because 84 and 36 is factor of 12. So you can divide with 12, 7 and 3. Then when you cross multiply, you will get 7r is equal to 3 into n minus r plus 1 will become 3n minus 3r plus 3. Now when you rearrange this, you will get 3n minus 10r is equal to minus 3, and that's your equation 1. Now consider the next two. Now you take NCR plus 1 and NCR, which is given as 126 divided by 84, right? And we know this result, right? NCR plus 1 divided by NCR, superscripts are same, subscript differ by 1. So here instead of R, what you need to do? You need to write R plus 1. That's the only difference. Okay. So this becomes n minus, instead of R you write R plus 1. Then plus 1 divided by R plus 1. So here R, you write R plus 1. This R, you write R plus 1. Okay. Now that will become, this minus 1 and plus 1 will get cancelled out. It will become n minus R divided by R plus 1. Now this you can divide with 42. 42 into 2 is 84, 42 into 3 is 126, so this is 3 by 2. Okay, now when you cross multiply, 3 into r plus 1 is equal to 2 into n minus r. So 3r plus 3 is equal to 2n minus 2r. Okay, so 2n minus 2r equal to 3r plus 3, which you can write as 2n minus 5r is equal to 3. That is your equation 2. So we got the first equation from the NCR and NCR minus 1, and we got the second equation from NCR plus 1 and NCR. Now what we need? We need to solve 1 and 2. So solve 1 and 2. Now you know how to solve this, okay? That's a cakewalk for you. What you can do is, see here, 3n minus 10r. So here you have 5r. So you can make it as 10r by multiplying by 2. So the first step that you need to do is, equation 2 you multiply with 2. Okay? So when you multiply with 2, what you get? You will get it as 4n minus 10r is equal to 6. Okay, now you can solve. So when you solve, 3n minus 10r is equal to minus 3. Then here 4n minus 10r, 4n minus 10r is equal to 6. Okay, so subtract 2 from 1. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2. So when you subtract, this will become minus, minus minus become plus. Okay, this become minus. So which will be equal to, n is equal to 9. So you got n is equal to 9. Now this 9 you put in equation 1. Put 9 in equation 1. Then you will get r is equal to 3. So n is equal to 9 and r is equal to 3. So what are that numbers? NCR means 9C3. So what was NCR minus 1? That was 9C2. What was NCR plus 1? That is 9C4. And we can clearly understand now that this is 126 and this is 84 and this is 36. Okay, so this is how you will get questions, and based on these properties you will solve those questions. I hope this is clear for all of you.